none of this here, which I want you to make sure that you guys understand this, and I need you to please understand this here, that obviously we're here to give back. All of this is here is for us to be able to give back so you can take real life applications, literally what we did to be able to get these things and show you how to do it. Now, there's going to be some numbers involved that we're going to talk about on what we did to be able to close and how much it was being paid for us. And I want you to take that as inspiration, not patting ourselves on the back, even though proud, very proud of it. Absolutely. Because this is just the fruits of the labor. If you go and you plow the land and you sow the seed, then the fruit eventually comes. So these are the things that happen. So over the past 3 weeks, literally, a little bit over $140,000 was made. Now that doesn't mean I collected it all, but what that does mean is that an event for December, an event for next January, an event for the summertime was booked, money was put down, and all these things were then on the books. So I'm going to start off with the first thing. February was I did a bridal show that I talked about, and I mentioned it a few times. And within that bridal show that we did, we ended up booking 6 weddings out of that, and realized that people at bridal shows also have jobs. And so out of the weddings that was booked within the 6 weddings from the bridal show, there was also another 2 corporate events that was booked out of that. And the way that happened is the guests wanted to be able to taste the food, but they didn't want to pay the fee that we had for the food, for the tasting. And so I said, hey, well, why don't you recommend this to your company? And then we can provide lunch for the entire office. And so in doing that, hey, my wedding caterer here, this is what they're doing. Here's the pricing. They end up booking us for a call center for 150 people. And that was basically their tasting to see how we managed and how we booked. Now, what does that mean to you? What do we need to do for you to be able to get to that next level? Understand that there's a difference in corporate catering, high-end catering, and then also wedding catering. There's also parties and other things in between. But those are going to be your biggest money makers. Bar mitzvahs are pretty big too. But corporate catering, weddings and events are going to be your biggest high end. And so what I want you to do is consider enrolling or consider looking into the next bridal show that is in your city. And there's specific ways to be able to do that. All you got to do is look up bridal show for my city. You can start off with a small one, but then the reason why that happens, you go, you serve, you set up food, you give out your food, you collect names and information, you go and you set up a tasting afterwards. There's ways to do it that I won't get so much into, but by doing that is literally a collection of leads. All of this here, guys, is to be able to gather leads so that you can then take those leads and turn them into sales. Please understand that, yes, you are caterers. Yes, you're chefs. Yes, you want to provide a great service. But on top of all of that, you're an entrepreneur. And you have to know how to be a good salesperson for your business, or you won't make enough money to sustain. And so literally the focus on our school group is to be able to show you how to sell your catering services and how to make the most money out of your catering services. And bridal shows is a great way to be able to gather names, phone numbers, and leads, because that's the whole name of the game. If you can hear me, please type in the number 1. Type in the number 1 if you've ever been to a bridal show, if you've ever considered a bridal show, or even had questions about a bridal show. If you can hear my voice, type in the number 1 if you've ever considered or had hosted. If anybody's ever actually done a bridal show and done anything within a bridal show, speak now or forever hold your peace. If anybody's ever done a bridal show, please let me know. Speak up. If not, I'll move on. Okay, real quick, I want to take a quick question. I want to take somebody's question on bridal shows and how they work before I move on. So any one person chime in, give me one question about how bridal shows work, how you can make money off of them, how you can gather leads, how you can make money off of bridal shows, who's here to for that question?
Okay, I got you.
All right.
All right. So
Or K Joy, was you getting ready to go? All right, hold on.
Yes. So I understand getting to the wedding show, getting the lead, and then scheduling a tasting. Do you charge um, for that tasting?
100%. Yeah, because if not, people won't come. And so you always want to charge for every tasting that you do. I've done, hey, Brian, you remember doing tastings for free back in the day?
oh yeah, we did a lot way back in the day. We'd never do it again, ever.
Never. And I book way more tastings now that people pay for them than I did when they were free because people just wanted free food oftentimes. And so the idea of bridal shows is to be able to get in, present your best look for your brides or for your potential brides, so you can be able to have them come over, taste your food, eventually have them go to a tasting, so then you can close them at the tasting or at a later time. So one of the ways that within that 140K that happened, this happened in February. We did the bridal show in February. And then within the past maybe month, we ended up booking 6 from that. So thank you for your question. The Brian, can you tell me about your experience? Now, bridal shows don't always work out for everybody, but I'm telling you, there's a lot we have to be as an entrepreneur, we got to be flexible in knowing how to maneuver things and to be able to try a bunch of different things. When the season is heavy and it's good and the stuff is flowing, be able to capitalize on that. Know your seasons also to be able to capitalize on that. Brian, tell me about your experience with bridal shows.
Yeah, so we did way back in the day. We started with a small bridal show in our city, and we're in Phoenix, so we started the Scottsdale bridal show. It was an outdoor one. It didn't have a ton of people that came, but there's a much larger bridal show in our city, is what I mean. And we started with the smaller one, which was very smart, just because we didn't have the money to put up right away to pay 3 grand or 4 grand for a nice size booth in a busy bridal show. This one had better sized booths for cheaper. Obviously, the amount of people that were coming to this bridal show were less, but at that time we didn't even know if we could fulfill the orders of all the people that we might get. And we didn't know if we were going to get a lot of people, a little people, who was going to show up, who's not, if we're going to book somebody, if we didn't. Our first one, we went over the top. We got big screen, flat screen TVs, which were expensive at the time. We put them behind us. We put a rotating carousel of photos of our events. And then we had a couple banners up. We had our menus all set out. We had stickers that said our catering company, and we were giving them out for people to leave their email address. And we were doing food tastings. We had hired like 2 pretty girls to talk to people, and it was a little underwhelming. We might have had like 100 or so brides come by, bride and groom couples come by, which is not a lot. It might sound like a lot, but it's not a lot. The big boy bridal shows, you might get upwards of 500 to 600 couples per day that come by. So what happens is there's a whole bunch of different vendors, which means there's plenty of caterers, there's plenty of photographers, florists, all these people. And these brides and grooms tend to get overwhelmed. So what'll happen is there'll be 10 different caterers. People go to each booth and somebody's like, yeah, we do catering all over here, and this is the type of catering we do, and this is what we do. And then they're like, yeah, thanks. And they're like, you want us to, can we send you a quote? And they're like, no, not right now. So then they're just getting constantly pitched. So you have to kind of find a way to stand out. In that first bridal show, we didn't know how to do that. We were kind of the same way, just pitching really hard and all that. After time, we ended up doing larger bridal shows. We perfected our craft a little bit. We took down the big screen TVs, had really nice banners, had some ads up on the banners. We had a better system of collecting emails. We sent out an offer with an email, so then that way we could set up a tasting. And then we would do group tastings where we would get all the people that we gathered from there and do a tasting for them. And the only way that we really got those people was because we did individual tastings in little small Costco style sample cups just to get the people engaged with us. Because if you just have a little packet of information and a sticker or a pen with your company name on it, nobody cares about that. The only person that cares about your company name is you. So they're not going to react to that. You have to give them a little sample of your favorite food, things like that, in order to get them engaged enough to try to get them to this tasting where they try the real deal Holyfield food of yours. And after about 6 or 7 bridal shows, we got much better at it. And then we started closing close to the number that Terry was talking about. Right now, to this day, we probably close 6 to 8 brides and grooms off of each bridal show that we do, and we do it a couple times a year.
The part that stood out for me, I'm not sure why this is doing this here. The part that stood out for me is the fact that you gotta know what you're doing. And when we started, we had nobody to look up to and nobody to ask. And so there's a lot of time and a lot of money wasted in doing that. But once you kind of know, once you figure it out, then this is just another way. The reason why I'm talking about this, to gather leads, because you are salesmen for your company. There's no company out there that doesn't have some type of sales. If you want to learn and you want to grow, you better learn how to sell your business and learn the right ways to do it. This is another way that we were able to get leads, was the bridal show. Next thing here is USS Midway. Now, this actually happened over a couple years ago. The reason why that worked out and the reason why the USS Midway, if you've ever been to San Diego, it's a big giant museum it's a battleship. And on that battleship of 4th of July, they end up, it's about 2,500 people that go onto that battleship and they watch the largest 4th of July firework in the United States. It's actually the second largest behind Washington, D.C. Excuse me. And so the reason why I'm bringing up this story is because months ago, or about a year ago or so, I reached out to USS Midway, literally with an email. Now, understand that I didn't just email once. I emailed these people 6 or 7 different times. They still didn't respond. From there, I posed as a customer. Nobody got back to me. I posed as a customer to be able to get someone to be able to respond, just so I can get an email to the right person in charge. Now, I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying do that. As posing as a customer, now the people who are in charge of booking the events, I have their information. Now I know who to contact. I reach out to them and I say, hey, my name is Terry. Here's my catering company. Here's what we do. Can I bring you in some free lunch, please? And no harm, no foul, no nothing, no obligation. And so and I was like, you don't have to do, all you have to do is be hungry and say yes. From there, they said yes, because there was no obligation. I went, made the best food that I knew how to make. And I made food for about 10 people. Within that 10 people, I actually put a little bit extra on there. They gave me a few minutes to be able to speak to the crew. Or within that crew, it was maybe 12 people. I talked a decent game about the catering company that I have. The food that they didn't pay a dime for, I sat and I gave it to them. We took a few pictures and then I left. And it was over. And I figured out, hey, if it works out, it works out. They called me 3 weeks later. And they said, hey, Terry, we loved your food. We loved your presentation. Do you think you can handle 2,500 people? And I'm like, yeah, of course I can. I had never done 2,500 people before, ever. But I know with enough time and whatnot, I can figure it out. But guess what? That would have never, ever, ever happened if I wouldn't have taken the time to reach out to USS Midway, which is the largest venue in California. I reached out to them 5 separate times and then had to pose as a customer just to reach out, just to be able to give them free food. And once we get all of those fed, we end up making almost $40,000 off of that event. And it's because I reached out. This was nothing spectacular that we did, that my sales team did, that I did. It was literally just being consistent and being diligent about growing my catering company. And so when you hear folks saying, understand, guys, I didn't start off with no big loans. My credit was trash. We started off with a couple chafing dishes. I was doing this part-time on the side. And so this was, just growing and learning. And luckily, I was just a sales guy in between time and knew how to sell a product. And so this is something that you guys can do to be able to get your company to the next level if you do the things necessary to be able to move business, to be able to move customers, to be able to get people to pay attention to you. So I'd like to know here right now, can I get at least one of you guys to commit to reaching out to a venue of some sort and offer them a free lunch packet sometime within the end of 2025. If you're okay with that and you are down with it, please give me a yes in the chat, because I'm telling you, just because I reached out to the venue, I will give you the script. If you're in the school group, you look at the script. There is a script already ready for you to just go and then take it and then Google venues in my area, insert your name, and then you put together a meal to blow their socks off, and you do it for free. It's going to cost you maybe $100 to do. But they call me back literally and said, will you do a meal for 2,500 people? Now, I didn't get enough yeses, and I need at least 2 more yeses. Somebody tell me that you're going to do that before the end of the year. At least make up in your mind that you're going to attempt to do that. Is there another yes in the house?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Brian's going to do it. The next thing that I have,
we all do it.
Yes. Honeywell is a company that we just finished, and I just posted about that the other day, which had they reached out some time ago, and I wrote a quote and I kept it somewhere within the budget that I thought that they could afford, and they said no. My first quote, they said no. I sent another quote, they said no. This was the first time they had it, was for 500 people. They said no. And so I'm like, the summertime is coming, it gets slow around here. I'm not going to take no for an answer. And so they didn't say no, I'm sorry. They didn't respond. And so what I did, emailed them back another quote. Here's the thing that you can do. If you have a customer that you've written a quote for and they don't respond, after a couple of days, follow up with them. Send them another quote, because most of the time, it's just too expensive. Find something that will fit their budget or fit somewhat a little bit less, and then reach out. Until they say no, they are still a potential customer. This is not fluff. This is not maybe this will happen. This happened. We finished this event on April 12th after they didn't respond to multiple emails, but I reached back out to them. They eventually said yes. This is just your sign to say, I had a quote. You had a quote from somebody. All of you guys right now have a quote that you've given to a customer that they haven't responded yet. And then you say, well, I guess I didn't have it. I want you to commit to yourself to reach back out to that customer and just get them, send them another quote, a little bit less. Maneuver some things that you can go. Maybe you gave them 3 meat options. Nobody eats 3 meats. Give them 2 meats. Maybe give them 2 sides or something that's still going to be profitable for you. This is a thing that we did. And I'm telling you here, from this event, they reached out, they bumped up their guest count. This past April 12th, they end up after everything was all said and done, $38,000. I am not bragging here, guys. I'm just saying these were the people who didn't respond that I reached back out to. Brian, do me a favor. Tell me about a time where you had a customer that didn't respond, that you reached back out to, And whatever it took, maybe it took 2 or 3 times or whatever it was, but you eventually got them. How did you do? What did you do? How did it work?
Yeah, so it's actually one that we just did. So the same thing. I don't want to just I don't want people to feel like we're just throwing around some big numbers, but these are real life numbers. We just did a really large event for 700 people this last weekend, and technically it's 1,400 people because we have them again this coming weekend. They split it up 700, 700, and it's a copper mining company, and the ticket was 23,000 bucks for each one. So 23,000 for the 700, 23,000 for the second set of 700, right? Now, it's a really interesting story and kind of funny how it worked to get this customer. So basically what happened was another mining company reached out to us about, I don't know, 7, 8 months ago about a quote. And I sent them the quote and they just fell off the map. And then I followed up with them and they didn't respond. So then I even followed up again and sent them just a cheaper quote. I was like, they're ignoring me anyway. I'll just send them another quote. So I sent them a cheaper quote, and the lady finally hit me back and she's like, no, sorry, we decided to go with someone else. I was like, dang. And it was probably like a $4,000 deal. And I was like, darn, okay, missed that one. But we have sales techniques on how we handle stuff. And I've never thought about a copper mining company at all for catering. But what it does is it triggers something in my mind where I'm like, well, if these people that are copper miners need catering, I bet there's other copper miners or people that mine other stuff that need catering. So, what did I do? I went to Google and I looked up mining companies in Arizona. I found this company and I found, I think, 3 or 4 other ones. And I sent them an email just saying, hey, we cater, we do this, that. Here's one of our recent menus. We have summer menus. We have funeral menus. We have all type of different stuff. So I sent them something directly saying, here's our most recent menu. It took about a month or so, and one of them got back to us. And they said, hey, we checked out your reviews online and we wanted a quote for 1,400 people. And I was like, hold on, this company sounds familiar. And I looked at my email and then I looked at who that was. And I'm like, dang, that's the people that I reached out to because another company reached out to us and we lost the deal. And it made me realize that mining companies, I guess, need catering. I don't know what they do. They mine for copper, but I guess they need catering. And I reached out to all the mining companies, and that turned into a $23,000 deal and another $23,000 deal, which is $46,000, all because I got turned down for a catering event and then found an interesting, unique way to try to get some money out of that idea and out of that popping into my life.
Hey guys, this was if I can ask you real quick, Brian, how much did that cost you to do?
The 23,000 one?
No, 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 to reach out to them.
Oh, so it cost about, well, it cost about, I sent them a flyer in the mail and I sent them an email with the most recent menu. I mean, I bought my flyers for probably like 40 bucks or something. One of the flyers might have cost like 8 cents. And then the stamp was whatever stamps cost 6 months ago. So I don't know, like $1.50.
All right. Hey guys, so again, this is the thing that okay, how does this help you? One, we can actually send you the script on what it looks like and what exactly to say. It's just being able to make money in this game. I need you to flip your brain to saying that, hey, I'm the best caterer, best cooking, best peach cobbler making, best chicken having, to I'm the best salesperson I'm the best entrepreneur. I'm the hardest working entrepreneur that does catering. And so, Joy, you mentioned something about that you ask corporate people up front. That's a great way to get going. That's a kind of a good way to set your baseline. And so sometimes you ask and they still may not reply. So all I'm saying here is that don't give up. Reach out if you need. I'm going to actually have a set of scripts that we're going to have here after this after this class here to give you that you can do, that you don't have to think. This is 15 years of failing and trying to figure it out of, well, not 15 years, we started to figure it out earlier than that, but of how to and what to say to these customers to reach out. Brian, are you okay with sharing the script that you sent?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Next thing that we have here was the email marketing. So what I would like all of you guys to do, if you have a website, number one, you need one. Number two, you need to focus on that website, because understand that people, your customers, people that you don't know yet, I'm not talking about word of mouth folks, I'm talking about your regular customers, just like you. They go to Google, they look for caterers near me or whatever they look for, and then they go and they try to find caterers. Then they find your website, then they go from there. So what I would like you guys to all do is take the next month to focus on your website, because your website, and then on your website, have a opportunity for your guests to only leave a name and a phone number, maybe a name, email, a quick message, and a phone number. That's it. Name, email, a quick message if they have a question, and a phone number, and that's it. Say, if you have a question, feel free to leave us a message, because what does that become? That becomes a lead for you. Maybe they don't book, maybe they don't, whatever, but realize what they had to do to get to you. They had to go through a list of however many people. Maybe they got the list or the name or something from somewhere else or from someone else. And then they were also able to, then they found you. Whatever reason that the customer, or however they found you, is how they found you. They've gone through a gamut of things. They reached out to you. You treat that customer like gold. Also, if you have a space on your website, if you do not have a space on your website for customers to just be able to leave basic information, you're missing out. I'd like to know here, I just want to know here, how many people in here actually have a website? Please type in website if you do. If you have a current website, type in website, whether it's up or it's not up, just type in website just to let me know if you do have a website. And then that way I just want to have a good idea of who and what we're speaking to. So these are things that are necessary and to be able to get your customers to go there. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because we have to learn Google. And until you get into a space to where you are able to pay for someone else to run your ads, then you have to learn how to do it. I have folks to be able to work it out. I don't like paying people for what I can do. Plus, I like my words to be a specific type of the way, right? And so what you got to do here is hold on one second. What we want to do here is understand Google. Reach out to me directly. We can work together on how to help you do an ad. The reason why I'm saying that is because Google Ads is where it's at. Because Google, 90% of people, when they search stuff, they search for it on Google, right? And then your goal in life, when it comes to your business, is to be on that first page of Google some kind of way. Your goal in life. And so over the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I've been reached out to. My sales team has been reached out to. There's been calls to be able to get that. There's been calls that are reaching out to us, because if you Google right now on your phone or on something, look up BBQ Catering in Phoenix. Look up BBQ Catering in San Diego. And then let me know if somebody can do that. Somebody, please, if you have another phone, if you have another website that you can do, look up BBQ Catering in Phoenix, BBQ Catering in San Diego. And let me know if we pop up on page 1, hopefully, for the most part, or if we pop up on page 2. I can't see it yet here, Brian. I don't know. Just let me know if it's there yet.
Yeah, it's a little bright, but yeah, so if you go there immediately, somebody who has a paid ad is above you. It's like hibachi, which is not even barbecue. And then you're the very first one after that.
So again, guys, this is not here to brag, or however. You know how I got on top of Google? It was a long time of um, getting my website together, making sure we work on it all the time, reaching out to folks and making sure people go to my website every time. Every time I open up my computer, it goes to my website, and in making sure that it's easy to function, because Google wants to be able to promote the best product. And so if your site is hard to function, if people are leaving your site quickly, they're not going to promote you up above the next person. So that's why we got to make sure that we stay on our website. That's why we got to make sure it looks familiar, that it's, don't try to reinvent the wheel by creating some crazy looking website that nobody knows what it looks like. We don't know what it looks like where the contact button is. There's no phone number on there. All we got is this. We got regular pictures. Take time to invest into your storefront. This is your business. Make it look amazing. Make it look good. Make it look the way you want your customers to look at it, right? You want high-end products, you want high-end catering, make your website look that way, because that is screaming what you do. Brian, you have any thoughts on website and marketing, and how your website sells for you?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts. I'll try to keep it minimal. So I always teach that your website is the number one place where everybody that shops for catering is going to look for you. So a lot of times we get caught up because we might be on Instagram or Facebook, and we post our pictures and our videos on Facebook or Instagram because we are on Facebook and Instagram often. And then you're like, well, I know there's a ton of people on Facebook and Instagram often. And that's true. It's very little amount of people that shop on Facebook or Instagram. Of course, there are some people that do the whole TikTok shop, or they might buy the latest, greatest new shower wand that cleans something, or they might buy an individual food product that's super cool or whatever. But these shoppers are not shopping for catering on social media. Where they're shopping for catering is a website. Your website is your hub, and your menu structure is the number one thing that will sell for you on the hub. We're talking about corporate outreach, wedding outreach, who we're going to reach out to in order to get them to buy catering from us. Well, we can't feel comfortable reaching out for corporate deals or wedding deals unless we have a home base to send them to. That home base has to be structured, easily readable, easily navigatable, where it's very simple to navigate this website so that it's clear cut. We're caterers. Here's some of our photos so you can get the party started. Here's our wedding catering, our corporate catering, and then if you want a high-end menu. And then that way people can look with their husband and wife and be like, honey, let's check out this caterer. Okay, corporate. We're not doing corporate. We're married. Oh, we're getting married. Click on that. Great. Here's the wedding menu. Oh, wow. Their menus are so easy to order from. They have appetizers. We needed appetizers because we have our cocktail hour. They have 2 entrees, 2 sides, salad. Oh, wow. They definitely need salad, bread, and drinks. Wait, this is like a one-stop shop. So we don't even have to go and search a la carte. We don't have to do all these extra things. We don't have to go find a company to do this part and that part. You have a website and you have a menu that guides the customer experience into purchasing from you easily. So they want to be able to shop on their own. Nowadays, everybody is intelligent enough to make their own decisions based on all the information that they get online. So people don't want to ask for pricing. They don't want to ask if they can add something. They don't want to ask to take away something. If you make everything easy for them to read on one hub that they can look at when you're not around, and not reach out to you and be like, for a quote, send us an email. I'd like a quote. Sure. And now you have to send them, what do you got going on? And they say, oh, I got a wedding. Great. How many people? Like, all this takes too long. If you break it all down for them on the website, then they can get an idea and type in on their phone how much their wedding is pretty much going to cost. They might be off a few $100, but they'll have an idea. And that way, when they call you, they've already got the information. They have already decided they like you, they like your menus, they like your pictures, they like your pricing, and that makes your sales process that much easier to close. So your website's everything.
Hey guys, the a great way to know if your website is functional and easy to manage is there's two things. Somebody in here knows a 9-year-old, or somebody who knows a 9-year-old or kid. See if that kid, I'm so serious about this. See if a kid, 8, 10, whatever, right? See if a kid can manage your website. Say, hey, open up my website, go here, and I want you to try to I want you to try to contact me. And then see if that kid can go on there. Hey, let's say you want to order chicken, whatever it is. Can you see what you can do to try to find the order chicken? If that kid can't do it, there are some people who are not necessarily not smart as a kid, but they just don't have the patience to be able to try to look for what you got because it's so deep, or someone has to fill out 9 different questions to be able to get all this information here. We live in a 6-second society, and people's attention span is so short. Next thing that you want to do to make sure that your website is up to par and on point is right now, there's a catering company, there's a business that's like ours that is bigger and makes more money than us. Find a catering company or find a business that is like the food that you offer and structure your site somewhat around that. See, for the most part, we have to make sure that we function our business and present our product the way that people shop. And there are some basic things that comes within sales and marketing that you have to follow. For example, yellow and red and orange are the hungry colors. I want you to think about every restaurant that you know and every restaurant you can think of. How many of them are blue and green? Not many. Most of them have yellow, red, orange, something along those lines, because those are hungry colors. These are just the way the people shop that makes people hungry. The reason why I'm saying that is because we have to make sure we maneuver our business to the way that people think, the way that people shop. That means on your website, it needs to be familiar to your guest. Find a website. Use mine if you want. Use whatever. If you make baked chicken, find a baked chicken company that does really good websites. That does really good food and that makes a lot of money, and maneuver your website somewhat around theirs. Because for the most part, that customer has gone to that other business just for individual things, right? So if I want a website, call it brand modeling. There you go. I like it. And so look at it, make sure it's familiar. Next thing I want to talk about here is,
I jump one thing on that. Sorry, guys. The brand modeling thing is super cool because you want to find somebody that's in the industry that you can take after, because he said earlier, just like Terry said, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Check this out. It's okay to be a copycat. People are like, no, you don't want to be a copycat. It's fine to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. You want to make sure that the right person that's winning in life, I would love to copy that person, because success leaves blueprints. And we want to take those blueprints and repeat them and become just as successful. And a lot of these places, like Terry just did $140,000 in 3 weeks, you might not even need to make that much. I mean, he's killing it. But if you can make 20% of that, and you might not even be the #1 person on Google, you're still going to make a lot of money. So if you like the style of his website, brand model after him. If there's
copy
something
everything.
that's a little cooler, brand model off of him. Whoever, I tell my people all the time, take my menus, take my pictures. You can do whatever you want. You're in a different city. I'm not worried about it. Go win. Take it and win. The more you give, the more you get. So just copy the right cat.
Hey, my current website right now is a combination of Longhorn Steakhouse and STK Steakhouse. There's two Literally, like, if you go and you look at them, it was built and presented basically off of that, because Longhorn makes a lot more money than me, and STK makes a lot more money than both of those.
I used to
So
do mine off of Famous Dave's when I started. I went to Famous Dave's website and I was like, cool, we're about to take this. Oh, wow. Their banner is on the top. Okay, their drop down menus from the left. Let's do that. Oh, wow. I like that little picture of them sizzling ribs. It's making me hungry right now. I'm about to put a picture of some sizzling ribs on the top of mine.
correct. Hey, so the next thing that we want to get at, that we want to talk about, is put yourself on the vendor list. All right. Now, I need to exhaust this so much because it is so freaking easy to get gigs off of just being on the vendor list. Now, sometimes it's a little bit harder to get on vendor lists for event venues because they only have particular people on there. But it is easy and free to reach out to every single one of them. It's also easy, not necessarily free, but to reach out and offer them some food to be able to, so you can have the opportunity to let that vendor know that, hey, ABC Catering does great work. They do great work and they do great business. They make great food. We're going to give you a chance because our bride was looking for this type of catering. So it's easy to do that. Now, the easiest place to do it is to get on the vendor list for your city. If you haven't done that, do it tomorrow. Do it in a week. Do it, please. And how that works is you go, somebody really quick, other than Brian, because I know where you are. Tell me what city you're in. Just throw it out there. I need a city that somebody is in. Just tell me what city you're in. Anybody. Type it in. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga. Google Parks and Recs in Chattanooga, in San Francisco Bay. Google it. And then Park and Recreation in those areas. And then in Little Rock, Arkansas, Google it, Park and Recreation. And then in Greencastle, Indiana, find those, Google the areas that you're in, find Park and Recreation, and then reach out to the Park and Recreation people literally through email and say that, hey, I'm a caterer in this area. I would like to be on your preferred vendor list. And the reason why that is so important is because nobody does it. And then there's only, and what happens is once that city sees your name on that list, once the city has your name on that list and they get a customer who want to come in and they want to throw a party at the park, they have 120 first graders, or they have 120 corporate people, or whatever it is, the customer can only use the approved vendors on the list. And nobody does this. I mean, it's so rare. So I'm on the list of City of Scottsdale and City of Phoenix. And so over the past 3 weeks, 3 people have reached out. They hadn't heard of me from Adam. But they say, hey, well, they talked to my team. Hey, we found you. You guys are on the list of City of Scottsdale. We're looking for some catering. We have a corporate party that's coming up in early June. Are you available? Yeah. Okay, great. Can you send us a quote for 250 people? We'd like to book you. Okay. All I did was put my name on the list. I didn't do nothing special. They didn't know that I was on Food Network. They didn't read my reviews. They didn't do nothing. They hadn't done anything. But the City of Scottsdale only gives them the opportunity to choose from a couple different people. And guess what? I'm the only one who grills on site. There's 5 million people in Arizona throughout Maricopa County. There's a lot of caterers out here. But why am I the only one on there? Well, at least the one that does on-site grilling and the type of stuff that we do. I'm fine that the other people don't do it, but these are the people who called me to book that hadn't done anything. So again, if you can hear my voice, please type in I'm in. Please type in I'm in. I want you guys before the end of the year to reach out to your park and recreation centers. And guess what? Most of the time, you don't even have to talk to these people. It's just an email, a form, submit, and it's free. It's free to do. Okay. And you obviously got to be able to, knock it out the park. In Daytona Beach, James, if you don't, there's all types of stuff going on in Daytona. If you're already on the list, Antonio, find another city that's close to you. If you're already on it, good stuff, man. Good stuff. When you get on these vendor lists, guys, I'm telling you, there's a small list of people that are approved. It takes a little bit of effort, for you to go in, to sometimes a little bit of effort for you to cook food and go and present to these people to say that, hey, this is what I do. Here's what we offer. And then you sit back and you wait. I didn't get an amen from everybody. Somebody say, I'm in. If you are down to make this extra money for free. If you hadn't done it yet, please do it now.
Check this out also. Antonio said you're already on there. That's fantastic. Just to give an example, we are on the Scottsdale list and Terry's on the Scottsdale list. We don't always know exactly how those lists work, but Terry gets more calls, probably because he does the on-site grilling, than I get off the Scottsdale list. But I'm on also the Sun City West list, and I get almost every event they have. And they don't have to choose us through Sun City West. But what happens is when somebody wants to have an event in that city, even if it's one where they don't make them choose you, once they've chosen their venue, they trust that venue more than anything. So then after they trust somebody, that trusted person says, we trust this catering company. So then that trust shifts to us. So they say, hey, I'm having an event in Sun City West in 2 months, and Anna down there told me that you guys are the best caterers in the city. Can we hire you? And I'm like, ready to sell, and I don't have to sell anything. They already sold them. Anna sold. I've never even met Anna. I'm like, thanks, Anna, because they're comfortable with that wedding venue or that location. Now they're automatically comfortable with us because they trusted the first person that they came into contact with, and they trust us. So, like you said, go knock it out of the park. You'll stay on the list. They'll keep giving you deals. Make sure their kitchen is clean as a whistle before you leave. Make sure you do some extra stuff. They tell you to take out the trash. You'll be like, I don't really feel, we don't always take out the trash. But since this company sends us like 30 weddings per season, I'll take out the trash. Like, go above and beyond, and then you stay on that list, and then you keep getting free deals that cost you zero to attain.
And zero for marketing. You didn't do anything on it, but all you did was you heard Barbecue Daddy, you heard Brian H. Nation talk about saying, you know what, maybe I should get on this vendor list. And now, if you're not ready for it, and you say, well, I don't have the capacity to be able to cater 120 people, you will. Because what you do, you give me a call, you reach out to me and you say, Terry, hey, I just got this thing booked and it's 120 people and I don't know what to do. Guess what? I started it not in this house, but I started in a house. I started in a house, and my 10-year-old and 8-year-old and 6-year-old was prepping chicken in my living room. Don't tell everybody about this. I'm talking about when I first started. I don't do it no more. I have a kitchen now, blah, blah, blah. But my kids was prepping chicken in the living room. We were shucking corn in the dining room. I was grilling my food outside in the backyard. But guess what? My website was looking amazing. And I'm gonna talk about this here in a second. I had a call center that I was paying $60 a month. Somebody else answered my phone. And then I eventually called them back and was like, hey, I looked like I could do it. And so when you get those venues, when you get those events, don't be scared of them. Don't be scared of those big events. Don't be scared of them, because what they'll do is they pay you the deposit first. They pay you the date charge first. And you take that date charge and you use it, and then you buy all this stuff, right? Or if you don't have it, you collect that final payment before the event. Then you take that final payment and then you get all this stuff with it. You may not even make money off of it right away, but you execute it and you did it well. And then now you have all this stuff and you use that money to be able to make that happen. Use that money that they paid you. And then you got to start earlier. You might need to rent a few hot boxes, but do not be scared of it. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. That's not my quote. That's actually from Keith Lee. But
I have a tattoo of that on my nipple. Hold on.
No, we're not doing that. All right. So I'm going to do me a favor, Brian. Look at what Ken wrote and then address that here in just a second. Yep. All right. I got two more things that I want to talk about that we actually did that actually gave us money. Last September, I physically, Terry, I put on my chef coat and I walked in to 20 different warehouses in Goodyear, Arizona. I walked in and I said, "Hi, my name is Terry." Just like if it was my first day. I'm talking about last September. I've been doing this 14 years here now. I walked in and say, "My name is Terry. Here's my card. Here's what we do. We'd love to be able to provide you with a free lunch or some, maybe you can use this for an event one day." Last September, this past 3 weeks, two of the companies called because my flyer, which is somewhere over there, my flyer was on the refrigerator that I dropped off from last September. And so they reached out and they called and said, "Hey, can you do 4 shifts? 10 o'clock a.m. and 8 o'clock p.m. from last Tuesday and Wednesday, 4 shifts for 250 people." And so I'm not bragging about none of this, guys, but I walked my young, handsome self in there and I handed them a flyer for free. And they didn't know nothing about me. And just so happened my flyer was around. They looked me up and they seen a decent looking website. And they didn't call to ask questions. They called to place an order. This is free. This is what we call free game that you're getting right now. That it doesn't count if you don't do it. We are here to make money. We want to service our customer. We want to do all the things necessary to be able to make sure that customer is right, but understand servicing that customer gets you paid to where you can then make 6 figures. You can make 6 figures a year. You can do eventually 6 figures in 3 months. Everything that I'm telling you, I didn't pay a dime for none of it, guys. And I'm so hyped right now, so amped because I want to be able to. None of you guys are in my city, and there's no competition here. Brian, one of the other biggest caterers in the city, is right here next to me, right there. But it's so much going on that we have our different lanes, and sometimes every so often there may be a quote that passes by both of us, but there's opportunity for people to be able to win 100%. But you guys just have to do the groundwork. I got one more thing. Brian, can you address Ken, please?
Yeah, Ken actually it looks like he just told a story. He was just telling how he ended up getting on the list because it wasn't initially on the list. So I don't think that was a question. If it was, you can pop in, Ken, and say it again. But I don't think that was a question.
Okay.
But Terry is right. Like we're in the same exact city and we should be competitors, but we do so well that when we come across the same customers and we might maybe duke it out or something for a deal, we're laughing about it and calling each other like, "Oh, wow, that's funny. Okay, cool. So, hey, if I can help you get it, get it. If you can help me get it, let's get it." And then when I'm busy, I send him my stuff. When he's busy, he sends me his stuff. And we trust each other's word that we do so good at what we do that it just helps. So you guys, this is so much game. Like we haven't even got into. I was going to say something about wedding open houses, but I don't know where Terry's going with this next one. But I have one coming up. You want me to tell him about it real quick?
Sure.
Okay, I have a wedding open house coming up on May 4th, and this was an interesting way to get in. We do weddings at this place all the time. And what happened was the lady that runs the venue was like, "You guys are great." At our last wedding, and she goes, we have an open house coming up on May 4th. Can you guys come and serve the food at it to our potential brides?" And we're like, "Heck yeah." So that opens your mind again to something else where you can start reaching out to wedding venues and see if they have open houses. What is the open house? They're trying to get people to come get married at their wedding venue.
They do the
Oh,
advertising for you.
they do the advertising for. I'm not paying $1. So this week I asked the lady, so how many people are you expecting? So I know how much food to bring. And she said, well, the last one we had about 150 people. So that's about 75 to 80 brides and grooms, because each person comes, the bride and groom come together. Sometimes they bring their mom or sister or something. So if it's about 150 people, then that's about 75, 80 different couples. Now, I know our closure rate. I know our food's good. I know all of these things. So we're probably going to get about 7 to 10 weddings out of that bridal show. And all I'm going to do is bring small cost. I'm going to set up our catering setup with our chafing dishes. We're going to give out little mini plates with small Costco size samples of 3 or 4 different foods on there. And we're going to book probably 7 to 10 events at around 4 to 5 grand each. I mean, you can do the math there. Just for nothing, it's $0. It's going to cost me maybe $150 in food and $150 to have somebody there serving the food with me while I talk to people. And if our average wedding is about $4,000 to $5,000, then 7 times that is about $35,000 in revenue that we will make from this wedding on I mean, not this wedding, from this open house on May 4th. We will generate about $35,000 within the next year from that. And
Guys, all this stuff here that we
cost me nothing.
we
$0,
talk-
$150 for food, which I'll pay that. How many of you would pay $150 to bring in 35,000? And these are also not exaggerated numbers. It's crazy.
all this here, guys, just comes from effort. I'm gonna get this last story out of the way, and what I would like, if we can, right now, please, I don't want to leave without answering at least 3 or 4 questions. So think about your questions right now, and then hit me after I tell you about this here. I've mentioned a couple times on another way of marketing, your Facebook groups. Facebook groups are easy way to get quick gigs, an easy way to get quick gigs. Very easy. What you do, write this down if you haven't done it already. Look up wedding venues in whatever city you're in on Facebook group, in your Facebook group. Hopefully you have a Facebook page already. If you don't, let's back up, get a Facebook page, put it together, make it look great, your Facebook page, your big business page on there, and then join wedding vendor groups in your city. All you got to do is join them. And then you reach out and you say, hi, my name is Ken. Hi, my name is Joy. Hi, my name is Jeff. Here's my catering company. We'd love to do business with you. And then you'll see, you can scroll through. There will be a wedding DJ. A wedding DJ reached out to me through the Facebook group just because I'm there. They know what type of food we do. Hey, I had a caterer that backed out on me. Can you do this wedding here for them in 10 days? We can work it out. Yes. I don't care how many people it is, unless the day is crazy. Yes, we can absolutely do it. And just because I was in a Facebook group, again, guys, this is what we call in this moment free game, because it's all free for you to do. Nothing that I told you so far cost $1. I did talk about Facebook. I did talk about Google ads, Google marketing. It's free to learn it. It does cost a little bit to run them, and we can get into a lot more detail. That's a whole different thing, but a whole different live. But all of these things that we talked about here are all free things for you to do. And these are not hypothetical things that happened. We've had a great past 3 weeks. All of these things that I've done, that I've been literally telling you on what to do and how to do, that I'm basically just telling you what we do, what they call seed, time, and harvest. We planted the seed, some time passed, and so now we have the harvest that we are now making happen right now. So we are actually about to wrap it up. If I can, guys, do me a favor and send in whatever questions that you might have. here and let me know. Give me something. Give me something on how marketing, what marketing techniques that you chose, and we'll go from there. Is anyone here? Just you can actually unmute your screen, or you can chime in the chat. Brian, you got a question for me?
Yeah, earlier when you said you marched your handsome self in there, did somebody tell you you were handsome?
My mama told me I was handsome.
Okay, okay, no, never mind. Yeah. What I was wondering though is so when you how do you decide whether or not at the beginning of this you talked about the wedding shows. How do you decide or how can they decide if a wedding show is going to cost too much for them to invest in, or how do they gauge if $1,000 is too much, if they should do the $3,000 one? Should they worry about it? Are they going to make that money back? Because everybody's scared to put their money out, which is understandable. What do you think about that?
Okay, so that's a great question. So, okay, so do the one that you can afford to do. So most wedding shows cost a little bit for entry, right? Sometimes they're a couple $100. Some are free. Some cost a few $1,000s. And so when you have the money to be able to do it, and then you can do it right, you got to go all out. I mean, there's no other way to do it. You can't go and you can't half-ass it. It's not possible. So what I would do is save up a minimum of $2,000 of some way. And then this is now the marketing that you need. This is now some of the marketing that you're going to need to be able to promote your business. And the whole idea behind all of this here, guys, is to be able to get leads, right? So
one wedding will make that right back too, right?
Yeah, one wedding will make that back. Whether you book 2, whether you book 10, whether you book however. But a bridal show it can be tough, but if it's done right, then it could be very, very profitable. Very profitable. All right, so we've got a couple questions in here.
I got one. I can do the how early do you prep meat? Is it the day before okay, or is everything done early the same day?
Go for it.
You can pretty much prep most meats the day before. And what you can do is, like, say if you do ribs, you can par cook ribs. You can even slice them and then finish them off the next day. You can par cook any kind of pulled meat. You can fully cook it and then store it. Like if you do pulled pork or pulled chicken or taco meat, you can dice up taco meat and then wrap it really tight in saran wrap, put it in the fridge, and then just reheat. You can do that with mashed potatoes. You can do it with mac and cheese. You can do it with anything except for chicken breast. You can do it with chicken thigh meat because it has a higher fat content, so it's not going to dry out. The reason you can't do it with chicken breast is because chicken breast is very delicate, as you know, and if you overcook it, it's going to get dry. The longer it sits, it gets dry. So I would reserve my chicken breasts for the day of. Anything that's really sensitive to transport and all that. But most of your meats you can do in advance.
Right. The fattier meats you can do a long time early. Like brisket, you can work it out. You can do it and cook it on site. You can slice it on site. Yeah, chicken breast sucks to be able to do. What I would recommend, if you have to do chicken breast a bit early, is marinate it. Because it's just not, even if you do it the same day and you make it at 12 o'clock, but you're not serving it until 6, it's still going to be dry because you have to keep that chicken at a certain temp. And by the time you get to it, it'll just be dry. But marinate it, that'll give you some extra juices on that. How do you food price?
There's also a hack to that where if you thin slice your chicken breast, then it cooks much quicker. And that way you can shorten the time frames, oven times or grill times, because it's a thin slice, barely cook it, get it hot, keep it in the hot box. It'll continue to cook until it finishes. By the time you get to the event, you're good to go. You got to be careful with it, but yeah.
Also offer on-site grilling and on-site cooking. Didn't let the folks know let's say you have tenderloin, which you don't want to prep too early. You have picanha, you don't want to prep too early. You got a lot of lean meats that you don't want to do too much top sirloin. You don't want to do too early. All these things that you can upsell and get these and be able to offer that on-site grilling for that customer. And you let them know. How do you price food? Tina, Winston. All right, the easiest way, there's a lot of ways to do it. But just like in the NBA and the NFL and to wherever you are what the market price you at, right? And so the easiest way to do this for anybody, Tina, we can talk a little bit more on the side to give you a little bit more exact how to do it. But is to what I found, find 5 different restaurants that offer the type of food that you do, and then you compare. What do they offer for 1 meat, 2 sides, or 2 meat, 3 sides? And then you kind of take the average. And then you just price for food only. And then from there, you have your other different things that you offer on top of that. Like, hey, here's what it costs if we want to drop the food off. All right. And then here's what it costs if you want us to set up and serve in the whole 9. So how do you price for food? It's different. Like my $15.99. So perfect example, we work in San Diego, and I also work in San Diego County. I also work in obviously all of Arizona. I have 2 different price lists for the exact same menu because San Diego is a bit different. So how do you price for food in general? Tina, what type of food do you do? Let me know. Just say it in the chat or you can chime in. Tina, what type of food do you do? And then you find that type of food person. Let me know where you at, Tina. Did you answer already? What type of food you do? Find that out from the different types of restaurants, and then just kind of go on an average of what it is. If you feel like you want to go higher or lower, that's what I would do, because you never want to go too like you never want a customer to tell you, you guys are so great and the prices were amazing. Oh, that means you were the cheapest person on the block. You want people to say, hey, you know what? You were worth every dime that I spent. There you go. Do you find it a little difficult to get to follow up reviews on customers? It's not difficult. See, there's a 2-part question. Do you find it difficult to get follow up and reviews from customers? I got you. Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't mean you stop asking, because for the most part, people typically, if you do a bang up job, they may leave a review. I mean, we've literally since 2011 done, I don't know, 2,500 separate events. And throughout all my review platforms, I may got a couple hundred because, it doesn't happen. So you still got to reach out. But I will tell you what here, Joy, do not, when asking for a review, you ask for that review for you first. And you say, hey, Miss Customer, how was your service? It was great. Awesome. Would you mind leaving a review? I'm gonna tell you the reason why I say that is because if you get to an event that you think that you knocked it out the park and you thought everything was good, and you say, hey, Miss Jones, can you leave a review? And then she goes online and says, everything is great, but the plates are too small. And I have a review up there right now. The plates are too small. And I think one of the guys was like, the guests were too nice and the service were too nice. 3 stars. What the tell me that. Or I've had another one where they didn't know. I didn't know that something had happened. I thought everything was good because my staff told me that stuff went over well, but the customer had a different route. So ask for reviews, ask them to tell you, then say, hey, can you repeat that online? Brian, you smiling. Give me a quick story.
Well, I was just going to say, not only that, but a lot of times customers will refrain from telling you their issues at the event because they're in party mode. So they might have something wrong that they're not feeling, but they're not going to obstruct their night of party to tell you about it. So they'll come and give you a smile and a high five and all that. And they might, hit you up in a day or two, or you just think everything's great because they give you a hug and they're like, yeah, everything is great. And then you hit them up 2 days later and say, hey, just making sure everything was smooth. How'd you enjoy everything? And they tell you, well, the macaroni soggy, the peas were mushed, and the chicken tastes like wood. Well, then you can be like, whoa, okay, that I guess that hug and all that was fake news. but at least they relay that information to you instead of you just taking that high five and that hug and being like, hey, leave me a review right here. And they'll be like, whoa, this guy's a dork. I'm going to go leave him a horrible review right now. I can't believe he sent me this.
Right.
So you want to filter it out before that happens, by asking for the review for yourself so that you can improve on things. And then if they say, yeah, it was great, we'll hire you again. Then be like, perfect. Can I send you, hey, if you don't mind, reviews online really help us get business in the future. Do you mind just putting a review on one or two of these sites? Here's a link, and make it real easy for them. Send them a link where they can just click on it and put it. Just a few words will help us out. Thanks.
Hey,
Thanks,
so
Brian. I'm going to start saying that reviews really help.
Well,
definitely.
yeah, because you want them to know that this is the livelihood of your family.
Yeah.
Like it's not just so you can make me feel good about myself. Our business is our baby, and we really appreciate your review because it really helps us get business in the future. And future brides and grooms will look online and see that we did a great job, and that's how we get new business. So that would more mean more to us than anything. And
Okay.
and then
Right.
once they feel it, like, there's an emotional connection involved, like, dang, they actually need this so that they can, here, I got you. 5 stars. I even tell them sometimes when I can tell it's a busy person, I'll be like, just put 5 stars and say things were great if you're strapped for time. Because those additional 5 stars will help the next person hire you. It'll do what Terry was talking about earlier and increase your visibility on Google because there's another human that said that you're a reputable company, which therefore moves you up the Google ranks as well. And it all over the board helps your business. So at some point you might get a negative review and you need it to be washed out with positive reviews. So you need lots of good reviews on there.
Last 2 seconds on that. Google reviews, I would say number one. Yelp, they hide a lot of your reviews. And so,
Horrible.
you'd hate to be able to reach out to 6 different people and only one of those reviews gets taken. All right. So Omar says pricing for different types of catering events, like you mentioned earlier. I'm assuming that you want to know the different types of, Omar, if you're still here, do me a favor, explain what you mean on that.
I think he probably means corporate weddings, high end. If so, corporate's going to be cheaper, weddings in the middle, high end's high end. And you're like,
Gotcha.
well, all the food's the same. How do I price it?
Right.
You just do it like that. Go ahead.
So there's a couple of different ways to do that. So some people have corporate menus and then wedding menus, and you can do the same. Now here's what the problem. You can do that. You have to decipher it some kind of way, at least for the customer's sake, because if they look on there, you'll get a person that's having a wedding who want to order off your corporate menu, and then say, hey, I want this pricing because it's the same thing. If you do that, there's a way to do that, but you got to make sure you let your corporate menus know that, hey, it's a little bit less. It's for a lunch menu. This is more of a dinner menu. So you can have a corporate menu, and you can have a wedding and events, or you can have a lunch menu and a dinner menu, and then obviously that way you can say the difference between the two. Also, you can just have, or you can have a menu that just has different options that fit more corporate customers better. So, for example, like, hey, we start at $15.99 or $12.99 or whatever it is, right? Now that same wedding could also do the same thing if they just want something nice, cheap, and easy. So there's a couple different ways to do that. Just make sure for the customer's sake that you make a difference. You show the difference in what that menu says, at least for the online sake. That this is lunch, this is why it's cheaper, versus this is dinner, and this is why it's more expensive because you get more. And so that's one way to go with that. If you need me to go in deeper, feel free to chime in.
All right, I got one right here. What is the cost for the knot and wedding wire and the return on investment, the ROI? So I've been dealing with a lot of this recently with some of my people I'm working with, and it's about on average around the country in the $300 range per month, which seems a little pricey. But once you're booking weddings off of it, it's nothing because we book about 6 to 7 weddings per month off of wedding wire, off the knot, and probably 2 to 3 off of Wedding Wire. They're the same company now, but they're still two different platforms. So about 10 total per month. The key to it is not just calculating your return on investment by paying $300 a month, because that's a scary number. You have to optimize your page through there and have some reviews on there in order for people to consider you and for them to push you harder. So if you just go pay them $300, you don't get any friends, family, past uh, customers to put reviews on there, then nobody's going to pick you or nobody's going to choose you because your page isn't optimized. If you don't have cool pictures on there, nice setup, pricing available, about us page, all of that, then somebody else is going to get that money instead of you. And it's not so much the Knot or Wedding Wire's fault. It's that you didn't have the proper reviews on there. You didn't have the proper pictures on there in order for them to push you, because they want people, they want companies that are legit on there so that their brides and grooms will be happy as well. So if you pay $300 a month, don't just expect a flood of calls. You have to be like, hey, a couple past customers, my cousin who ordered food from me. Let's get 5, 6, 10 reviews on there. And then you can start getting money off of Wedding Wire and the Knot.
Right. Those are Wedding Wire and the Knot are the largest wedding pages in the United States. So it's good to promote on them. You can get on there. You can pay. You don't have to. If you don't, but the return on that, for the most part, especially if you're not necessarily ranking on Google yet, you got to do those type things to be able to get to those brides, because they got to be able to find you, because they're looking on Wedding Wire for sure, but they're also, they're looking on Wedding Wire, they're looking on the Knot, they're also looking on Google. So you got to be able to compete. So get up towards the top. And then if there's any more questions, guys, feel free to throw them in there. If not, I'm going to end up with this, and I really want you to pay attention to this here lastly before we go, please. As you are looking to increase your catering game, right? Hold on one second. As you are looking to increase your catering business and your catering money, you got to make sure you continue to pay attention to the details. Number one, you have to make sure that you are offering food that people who spend a lot of money buy. If you're doing barbecue, great. We do barbecue. It works. You can work it out. But your site, your marketing, your logo has to look like something that your customer wants to buy from. My company used to be Barbecue Daddy Catering, and I did an event, a rehearsal dinner from a customer, and they told me at the event, they said, you know what, Barbecue Daddy, you guys did such a great job. This food is actually better than the food that we have for our wedding dinner. The rehearsal food is better and your setup is better. But we can't hire Barbecue Daddy for our website for our daughter's wedding. And I'm like, you know what? Okay. You're right. I got it. These people, they had big house, big mansion up in Scottsdale, Arizona, big giant backyard. They had 75 people at their rehearsal dinner, and they spent a lot of money with this just for the rehearsal dinner. But they spent double that amount, and they had double the guest count for the wedding. And the reason why they didn't choose us is because my company name was Barbecue Daddy. On my website was full of a bunch of fun, happy-go-lucky customers, a bunch of fun, happy-go-lucky stuff. And so I literally had to make a decision at that point to say, if I wanted that bigger gig, which I should have got, because they reached out to me first. They ended up going with somebody else afterwards because of the name and the look. Well, they shouldn't have done that. I don't forget what they should have done. This is what happened. And we thought we got to think about the customers that we never knew about. The customers that could have been yours, that came to your site, that heard about you, that didn't book with you because they didn't like the way your website looked. They didn't like the way that your presentation. If we are trying to get more money with our catering business, we have to be able to present ourselves to be able to charge more money. That means my company is now Q Fire Catering. I love Barbecue Daddy. My daughter named me Barbecue Daddy when she was 5. Everything else says Barbecue Daddy, but I had to change it to Q Fire Catering and change my website a bit. We moved into San Diego. We're doing a bunch of nicer high-end events. I didn't just only want to do high-end events because maybe they don't order barbecue. Now, I'm a barbecue caterer, guys. So if you're a barbecue caterer here, don't think I'm hating on you because I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to everybody. You got to choose a name that sounds like what you want to charge. Your site and your marketing has to look like something what you want to charge. I have a steak menu right now, or I think it's $125 a plate before gratuity and some other stuff here, but it has to look like that. You got to pay attention to the details. These are the things that a lot of times that us as caterers, man, we just don't do. That we have to start doing, and you can't just go and look at it. Well, it's good enough. Looks fine. Looks fine to me. If you want to grow and you want to take your $50,000 a year catering business to $100,000, from $300,000 to $600,000 to $600 to $1 million, you got to be able to offer a product that has that looks like it. And a lot of times, and most of the time, it's free to do. Not only do we have to do the work to obviously go get the customer, but we have to be fishermen, and we have to make sure that our presentation is a $20,000 catering gig presentation. It has to look like that. If it doesn't, if you got kids, forget the food taste, get it out of your brain. We don't care how great your food is. Your customer, they do, but that is not the biggest thing. Understand, please believe me. The presentation and the experience is the number one and the number 1A thing that you need to work on your presentation of your business. The presentation and the capture of the experience of what you have to offer is what customers are looking for when they hire catering. They're not necessarily looking for the best whatever in the city. So you gotta, Jeff, you say we're branding from Hot Wild Barbecue to Red Line Barbecue Catering and Steakhouse and Grill. Sounds good. That's where we're at. You got to make sure, would you hire the name of your company to cater your daughter's wedding? Yeah, I would, because we taste great. Okay, great. But guys, I need you to think like customers. Stop thinking like you. Know what your customers are looking for. Pay attention to the details. A lot of this stuff, most of this stuff, almost all of this stuff is free. It just takes the effort. So what I would like to do, I'm going to end on that note, is I want to work with some of y'all personally, man. I want to be able to work with you personally and to be able to, like, take you to the next level. Like, I want to say, hey, I worked with, Ken, James, Antonio, whoever, Omar, personally, to be able to like pull you along the way and say, no, Ken, no, Jeff, no, Tina, you got to take that mindset off and put this one on. This is how we sell. Let's take your website and do this with it. It's obviously going to be your thing always. But I've been there, done that, guys. I started with a chafing dish, a wire chafing dish, and some aluminum trays, to where I could only dream of having $140,000 year, to where we did it last month. I didn't take any loans out. I didn't have nothing special. So feel my passion for you, and somebody reach out to me, please, and let me help you get to the next level. so we can then show off together and say, I'm here. And we got there because I decided to invest in myself. And this time next year, or this time in 6 months, or by the end of summer, we worked it out. By the end of summer, your website looks great. You got reviews everywhere. You're on this, you're on that, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing all the things necessary. Then once you get all of that stuff going, if you ever fish, you cast your reels, you do your thing, and you sit back and you wait. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get this money, y'all. Outside of that, man, chime in if you need to, but reach out to me individually. Please reach out to me and let me know. Reach out to me and let's talk. Let's talk. Let's get you to the next level. I'm ready to take somebody on another level. So I want my dream is that somebody surpasses and they say, hey, a barbecue daddy, we had $150,000 week. How do you reach out? Look, here's my email. Where I'm gonna type it in. One, we want to be a part of the school group if you're not already. But what's my email? The Decatur Pro 3000 at gmail.com. Here, this is, hopefully everybody sees this. Reach out to me individually. Let me give you the notes from this here thing, and then let's work together. Let me help you. Let me help you. Invest in yourself with the time, with the effort. If you, yes, you can cook, man. We all know that you can cook. Everybody knows that you can cook, but now it's time to start making some money. Damn it. It's time to start making some money. And I'm trying to help you get there. I would love to help you get there. So reach out to me, email me. Let's get the notes from this event. I want to thank you, Brian, for showing up and tapping in. And thank all y'all for sticking around. Y'all stayed for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Hey, time flies when you're having fun, I guess. So somebody who's ready to get to that next level, like anybody. First of all, let me know that you can hear me before you go, because I don't just want to please put I hear you in the chat, and then we're going to log out. Please, if you can hear me, please let me know that you hear me, and somebody let me know that you're ready to get to that next level and start making some real money to where you can then brag about your employees buying a house off of your company. So you can brag about the vacation that you're getting ready to take to St. Lucia, June 20th, with this pretty young lady right here.
How your point is me in the corner, so be careful. Hey, but seriously, guys, I really wish that I had the opportunity to toss a few dollars at a mentor of mine and have them work for me to grow my business to the next level. Because, I mean, any of you here would pay $1 to make $5 and then do it again and again and again and again. So there's no reason to not invest in yourself, invest in your business to get to the next level. I would do it any day.
All right, guys.
I could do it. I don't even have the opportunity to do it now. I had to do it the hard way. There's a bunch of hurdles, a bunch of bumps. You're going to lose more money trying to figure it out on your own. That's 100% fact. It is not an exaggeration. It's nothing. You will lose lots of money trying to figure it out on your own.
Antonio, where am I staying in Coconut Bay? I forgot where I'm staying. I'm staying up on the northeast side. What's the name of it? If you got a second, I'll reach back out to you and tell you. But catering money paid for this St. Lucia trip. That we do something
yes, and it's even deeper. He has time to do it, because you can work your butt off and then you don't have time to do anything because you're getting crushed by work. But when you can implement systems and put them in place in order to be able to take time off and his business still be running while he's taking time off in St. Lucia, is more valuable than anything to me. I need my time.
This happened all off of wire chafing dishes, guys, and some aluminum trays. So at a long time, I spent literally thousands and thousands of dollars going to bridal shows, to conferences. Also, I'll be speaking at Wedding MBA as a keynote speaker for caterers in Las Vegas, November 11th through the 13th. So either way, y'all, I'm excited for you because y'all still here and it's 8:30 and some of y'all is on the East Coast and it's late. So I know y'all excited. I know you're here. Thanks for stopping in, y'all. Brian, love you, brother, as always. And then y'all have a good night. Somebody reach out to me. Somebody, let's get this money. Somebody, let's go. Good night.